Mr. Mohammad Zaidan Khan, Convener, Steering Committee, Dr. Sohail Ejaz Khan, DCM, Mr. Shihab Protokut, Pravasi Bharti Awardee, all members of the Steering Committee, members of the Indian Diaspora, ladies, gentlemen, and boys and girls, Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and a very good evening to all of you. First of all, it is a very touching welcome that you have bestowed on us. And it is something which is so memorable that it will remain very close to our heart for a long, long time. I would like to, first of all, congratulate the steering committee and all the organizers for flawlessly organizing such a big event, despite several challenges, and now the challenge which you see is of the weather. But despite that, inshallah, we will have a very, very good event. Indian diaspora, numbering about 30 million worldwide, comprising of 13 million PIOs and 17 million NRIs, constitute one of the main pillars of India's representation abroad, Indian diplomacy abroad. It would not be in the fairness of things if I do not recognize the contribution of the Indian diaspora. Each one of you who are present here are the ambassadors of India in your own way. Even here, when we saw the people who came to present the bouquets, you represent people coming from different parts of India, south, north, east and west, representing different languages, different religions, different cultures. This is a reflection of the India, complete India here. India, which is like an epitome of the world, a mini world. We are very proud of our country, being a multi-religious, multilingual, and multicultural, inclusive culture, which is something which no other country can boast of. And all of you who are present here have demonstrated that very, very actively, and we can see. This concept of our unity in diversity is something which we are proud of and which we all have been carrying it forward. Each one of you who are here abroad as an Indian diaspora have enriched the societies wherever you have been. In fact, in some of the countries, people have risen to become the heads of state, heads of government, parliamentarians. There are scientists among you, there are academicians among you, there are IT professionals among you, there are sports persons among you. To top it all, there are so many community volunteers, there are hard-working individuals among you who have a soft heart, who have a heart to help others, who have a heart to help the downtrodden and the destitute. Now, from our side, I always believe in working together with the diaspora. There is no desk in between me and the diaspora, so the desk is not there. So we mingle with the diaspora, we work with the diaspora together. I have been working, that has been my style right from the day when I joined the service, right from the beginning when I was a regional passport officer at Hyderabad. That was something which I have continued, and inshallah it will continue. So I would be working very closely with each one of your organizations. Firstly, our priority would be the welfare of the Indian community. We have nearly 3 million Indian workforce here. These are the people who have left their homes, who have left their families behind, and they are here to earn livelihood, and it is our responsibility to ensure that their stay in the kingdom is as comfortable as can be. And from the embassy side, we have already heard very good feedback of the officials who are working here, but definitely we would continue with this and maintain these high standards and surpass what the expectations you have about the working of the Indian public dealing sections. For the professional organizations, again, there are a lot of things to be achieved in the kingdom. I was myself associated with the several professional organizations in the kingdom. This is my third posting, many of you are aware. I started in 1995, both with Jeddah and Riyadh. And there are several faces, there are several friends who are there from that time. There are newer friends who are there, who have become friends through the social media. There's organizations here which have existed since then, have been doing very good work. I was just reminded by the Kohinoor Toastmasters Club that my icebreaker speech was in the Toastmasters Club. Then the Engineers Forum was closely associated with several other organizations. In fact, all of them have been there either here or in Jeddah. So for me, this is a homecoming. In fact, a close friend of mine, a senior police officer in Hyderabad, has said, it's like playing cricket at the home ground. But sometimes home ground is also challenging, but I would like to request all of you to work closely with us, and together we will achieve. It's nothing that we can do something on our own. You know? In fact, we have seen, when I met the External Affairs Minister, I was narrating to her that during my tenure in Jeddah, we had repatriated about 40,000 Indians in a span of 1 month, and where every community members had come forward and helped. She said, now that record is broken. Now it is 76,000, and she has complimented the community for their wholehearted support. Indeed, there is a recognition everywhere where you go of the work which you do. There is little we can do, but there is more we can achieve together. As one of the speakers was mentioning about the unity. In fact, I think we were mentioning about this. This is indeed a key word. That this is the key word for us to move ahead. In my dictionary, impossible is not the word, no is not the word. So everything will be considered very positively. Everything we'll try to see how we can move forward. We'll try to find a way. We'll try to find a way within the boundaries of our rules and regulations, boundaries of the rules and regulations of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. First of all, my compliments to the community, because every senior person I met from the Saudi establishment in India, elsewhere and here, ever since I came, have words of praise for the Indian community. So it shows that your hard work, your dedication, you have made your mark in this country. Indeed, together, as I said, there are many, many things to achieve at this point of time when the relations between India and Saudi Arabia are at their peak. It all started with the high-level engagements we have seen in the last few years, starting from the visit of His Majesty King Abdullah to India in 2006, followed by the return visits of the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in 2010, and then the visit of the then Crown Prince and the current King, His Royal Highness King Salman, and currently His Majesty King Salman. Then the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and finally the culmination with the visit of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince to India very, very recently. So many things have been discussed. There are things which we had never discussed before. We never visualized that India and Saudi Arabia would move in diverse fields like that, be it security cooperation, be it energy security or investments. Many things are there to come. And again, we would be relying very, very heavily on your inputs. Those of you who are in different fields, let's say those who are working in the petrochemical sector or any other sector for that matter, we would value your assessment and inputs of how things need to be done. Academicians for that matter, we want to take things together. So the priorities for me, one would be the diaspora. 100% the community welfare is one of the topmost priorities. We'll do everything possible. For us, the priority between the employer and the employee would be the employee by default. And if there is a marital dispute, unfortunately, then the priority for us by default would be the woman. So that this is the attitude the government wants, and this is the way we will go forward. One of the things which was mentioned is about the schools. We know that this is one of the challenging things which all the community members face and we as administrators face is how do we manage huge schools numbering about 45,000 students cumulatively in about 10 schools. These are like universities and institutions in themselves. So it is a very, very arduous task. We have a very good set of people who are now looking after the affairs of the school. I would be keenly following what is being done and assure you that our children, your children who are studying here would get the best of the possible educations and they are better prepared for competitive examinations back home. Certainly when we do certain changes, when we bring about the transformation, there may be some feathers would ruffle, but we would request your understanding and contribution and participation in the process so that our first priority is your children. You know, children is the first priority because all of us were parents, we were parents, our children are still studying abroad and all of you who are here, most of you would be having children studying here. So we would like our children to get the best of the education, be in a position to face the newer challenges of the world. Gone are the days where the traditional system of educations were there, where you get the marks and you get the admissions. No longer so, because if you are going abroad, for example, then there are many things which are to be tackled. For example, when my son, the youngest son, was in grade 7 or grade 8, then his teacher asked in the American school to write an essay. He wrote an essay, and then when the teacher was evaluating, he said, "This particular paragraph, where have you taken this from?" He said, "I've not taken it from anywhere, but I was inspired by this movie." And he named the movie. He said, "If you were inspired by the movie, then you should have given a reference under the footnotes." So this is where the children are taught how to tackle plagiarism, and then the research, how the research is to be done properly with references. So I think we need to mold the way in which we are imparting education to our children. And if our children get used to this kind of education, they can face any challenges ahead. Abroad, when you go and see universities in US, universities in UK and Australia, you will find that even undergrad students are involved in high-level research. I was privy to a University of Michigan, where a $900 million cyclotron project was being handled by the first-year undergrad students. Imagine such a thing possible in any other Asian country, where research itself is so highly kept secret and is sacrosanct that even scientists may find, some of the scientists may find, or professors may find very difficult to get access to. So I think it's a new world and a new challenges, and our youngsters should be better prepared for that. And that way, the faculty and those administrators who are administrating the school should also, be aware of these challenges. When all through our lives, when we were parents, we used to go to the school only for one purpose. That was for the parent-teacher meeting, to know to assess the educational standards for children, talk to the children, how best we can do. Beyond that, we never used to look left or right. That was our thing. So if our orientation is focused on the most important issue for the children, which is the academics, then everything will be right. I think there are many things like this which are there. Business, for example, this is the best environment now for developing businesses, investments, and between both India and Saudi Arabia. Our good friend from Lulu has talked about the avenues which are available for the Saudi investors and Saudi businessmen to air their whatever the challenges they are facing, but for Indian entrepreneurs, perhaps those challenges he perceives are not there. Certainly, that I work very closely with with business communities both here and abroad, both in my previous tenure and here. We have a dedicated team of officials also in the embassy, and we would assure you that we will do everything possible to ensure that the best business climate is made available to you. All the opportunities which may identify would also be notified to the potential business people from India so that they can make use of the opportunities which may be available for in the kingdom as part of the expansion plan of the kingdom through the Vision 2030 and many other such programs. And we know that already very prestigious Indian companies are here. and we expect to have many more Indian companies come here. When the realization of $100 billion of investments, which was promised by His Royal Highness Crown Prince, comes through, both in the energy sector and several other sectors like infrastructure, housing, agriculture, health, and many such areas, it would indeed be an opportunity not just for Saudi companies but also for Indian companies, opportunities for Indian workforce, opportunities for Indian professionals. So I think it's a win-win situation, and we are all in a time where the India and Saudi Arabia relations are on an upward trajectory, and it will continue to grow upwards. And that is where each of you who are working here would be contributing meaningfully towards that. Do not think that even if a small worker in a small company is there, he is also contributing, and so is the contribution from the professionals, and likewise here. My doors will always be open for any suggestions, any constructive thing. As I said in the very beginning, it will be an open door policy. I was very fortunate that the people in Jeddah had dubbed me as the people's diplomat after my 4 years, and I indeed want to continue with that. So I'm your diplomat, I'm one among you. So please feel free, come and share with you what are your concerns, come and share with us what you think that how we should go forward. And I remember that when I came first here in 1996, and I used to travel quite a bit, and I was looking after the commercial work. And during my first visit to Jubail, I met a very senior scientist from India. His name was Dr. Kalidas. And he had been here for 30 years then. And when I was interacting with him, he was from the Rex IPCL petrochemical company. And when I was interacting with him, I knew that this man had a treasure of information, a wealth of information, and his contribution was so good. And we kept in touch, for a long, long time. And I keep looking for people who are resource persons for everything, be it education, be it business, be it community development, or as volunteers, or any other thing which can improve ourselves as a community, which can improve the society through our contribution. So let's resolve to work together, and inshallah, we will see that we make a difference, we make our country proud, we make all of you proud that we are Indians and we can make a difference wherever and anywhere we are. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind. Deputy Minister.